today we will try to understand about Azure Site Recovery. So let's say we have 300 servers. They have been replicated by using Azure Site Recovery, because Azure Site Recovery is a service which actually replicate the servers, and while it is doing replication, it uses a disk where it capture the change which is in production to the ASR. Okay, so let's say we have a requirement that we need to assess out of 300 servers which server are critical, and based on their criticality we have to also trace, like this particular server gets data from this endpoint, and from another endpoint, and from third endpoint. There can be multiple dependency, right? Let's say there is one production application, so for one production application there could be let's say 30 servers which are directly or indirectly being the part of that production application to run smoothly. Okay, so that is the scenario. Now how we will assess that is with first we have to understand about let's say we have one region that is for production, and another disaster recovery regions that we have decided for site recovery in case of any disaster, or that is also even the part of we have ISO 27001, that is one of the compliance uh, I would say standard. If we have the documentation of the disaster recovery in place, and we have the test in place, like we are testing it let's say twice in a year. Okay, that could be one, or maybe quarterly we are testing the disaster region, because we have to also periodically test the disaster region, so that in case of actual disaster we'll be able to replicate and continue to the business. Okay, business continuity would be there until we fixed the primary site. Okay, so that is the objective, like why we want. Now there comes the network part. So we should have networking in place. We have a network and the subnets, and we have security groups, right? And we have like NIC cards, which are in the production region, the same that we want in the DR region also. So that should be there. The planning should be there. And same goes for the certification part also, because our applications would be using various licenses, right? So the license should also be in place, like in case of disaster we'll be able to utilize the license in that particular region. That is the part of the assessment and the part of the documentation, and that's a part of the testing. Okay, and then while we are assessing this disaster recovery, so we have the architectural diagram, like we have HLD, that is high level diagram, or LLD, that is low level diagram. So which component is connected to which component, and the database, the order of the application, because first our database should be ready, and then comes with the other layers, right? So that should also be the part of the documentation to assess which are the I would say, like, there is a layer, so which layer should be ready before uh, you know, the next layer starts. So that is also important. And apart from this, I would say we should have the kind of run book ready, and the responsible person in case of disaster recovery. That could be, let's say, if there is any issue in the database side, right? So who will be the responsible person, right? So that should be documented, to whom we have to reach out in case of database issue. And let's say there is an issue in the network, right? So who is the first point of contact, and who is the secondary point of contact? Because in disaster, you never know when things went wrong, and we need to make a contact to the responsible person. So all those things should be in place, so that we'll be able to connect with the people, and there is a smooth process of collaboration and to tries the business continuity. Okay, so that is also a part. And in the disaster recovery, like, we have the test failover. So we have to do the test failover. When I say test failover, it is actually not switching to the particular disaster recovery. It's a kind of previewing, like, the uh, whether we have the setup as we are expecting. Is it up or not? So that's a kind of, I would say, drill, we can say, or we can say test, uh, like drill test. That's a kind of terminology we have here. And and apart from this assessment part, we also have the governance and compliance, because we should be aware about the policies we have in in the in the account, right? Because the account is being controlled with a boundary, and that boundary is a policy, that what role is, required for particular application, particular user. So all those things should be in place. And when we talk about governance and compliance, it's like we are talking about the guardrail. Guardrail is a logical understanding, like, when we talk about encryption, right? So let's say disk level encryption, or we have TLS certificate in place, right? And apart from this, we have versioning in place for things, so that it is trackable in case we need to see what we have done previously, so that we can recall and that we can use in the existing, or we can test, or we have an idea, like, what we have done in the last phase. So it should be trackable. And apart from this compliance, there is a cost management, because cost is very important. Like, when we are talking about cost, we are actually contributing, or actually utilizing the best use case to have our setup up and running. Because anyway you can create a setup, but how efficiently you are choosing the size of the VM, or the OS of the VM, right? So, and the disk decision you are taking, encryption decision you are taking, and also which reason you are selecting. So because cost vary reason to reason, right? So we should have an idea like whether we are planning to have this setup for, let's say, next 3 year, so we can go for reserved instances that will, save a lot of money for us. But we should be clear, like if we have the stable requirement, then we can go for that particular option. And let's say spot instances. Let's say we have the jobs, or we have a batch jobs to run. So it is not like needs to be run immediately. It's like we need to run this job, but irrespective of like in this moment, it's like can be run in the night, or it can also be interrupted. There would be no issue because the production is working fine, but we need to run a job to collect the data from different sources, or to check um, uh, you know that could be any kind of configuration, or a sort of pushing data from one source to another destination. So there are like a lot of jobs that needs to be done. So we can use spot in instances if we can bear the interruption. It depends on the type of workload we are using. And when we talk about cost optimization, apart from this, we also have the backup. So because we need to take backup of our existing set of servers, okay? So when we are taking backup, so that backup strategy should be in place. Like we are keeping the backup, let's say, twice in a week we are taking backup. Yeah, it's not in every case we will go for disaster recovery, like we'll do the failover. It's like, let's say something messed up in the production, so we can use backup also if it is recoverable, right? So why to go for entire workload to be shifted from we can say from left to right, right? So that is like we can avoid this, and we can use the backup strategy. So that's why we go for backup also. So this is all about disaster recovery in Azure platform, particularly I'm talking. So it's a kind of overview and how we think while we, assess a particular workload, and categorize the criticality of the applications, dependencies, and all other, I would say, like network level things, or infrastructure level things. Everything is being taken care.